Good morning, friends. You're most welcome to Think Ice channel. Today we are going to discuss Practicing Anthropology by MAAN IGNOU, and our topic is multimedia. Let us begin the topic. Importance of multimedia. Multimedia is fast emerging as an important tool of research and as a basic tool of future life. Multimedia proposes to simulate human-like communication and services in an environment of you see as I see and you feel as I feel. Virtual reality is envisaged in multimedia services, Bhunia 2009. Multimedia can stimulate more than one sense at a time, and in doing so, may be more attention getting and attention holding instead of limiting us to the linear presentation of text as a printed in books. Multimedia makes reading dynamic by giving words a new dimension. This is accomplished not only by providing more text but by bringing it to life with sounds, pictures, music, and video. According to Computer Technology Research CTR Corporation report, people only retain 20% of what they see and 30% of what they hear, but they remember 50% of what they see and hear, and as much as 80% of what they see, hear, and do simultaneously. 1993. With the use of multimedia, learners may gain knowledge profoundly in a shared independent surrounding. When we say interactive multimedia, it means multimedia which lets the user to have control. Learners and researchers can gain meaningfully while studying or investigating with the use of a combination of various media like graphics, images, text, video, audio, and the digital world, which can enhance his or her powers in academic and later in professional efforts. Multimedia activities encourage learners or researchers to work in groups, express their knowledge in multiple ways, solve problems, revise their own work, and construct knowledge. Suppose you read a lengthy document and want to refer back to the page on which a certain idea was mentioned. You check the index, but the topic you want is not listed. Try as you might while paging through the book, you just cannot find what you did earlier. A multimedia document solves this problem by letting you search the full text for keywords to find any topic or combination of topics. In fact, a multimedia document can refer not only to information within itself, but also to all the other documents to which it has been linked and to all the documents to which they have been linked. Multimedia is changing the nature of study of different disciplines. Multimedia is changing the nature of study of different disciplines. Fueling this growth are advances in technology and price wars that have dramatically lowered the cost of multimedia computers. Recent advances in digital technology and fiber optics have revolutionized the way we live and learn. There is no denial that we are all attached to the workings of multimedia today in our lives. We find multimedia being used everywhere in films, in pedagogy, in performances, in entertainment, in advertisement, in publishing, in publicizing, in video conferencing, in teleconferencing, in communicative television, in world of publishing, etc. Putting to use the effectiveness of multimedia to information system can only lead to enhanced information and quality delivery of knowledge to people. A brief history of the use of multimedia in anthropology. Use of multimedia in providing information about individuals and cultures has been done by anthropologists and para-anthropologists since the late 19th century. Photography, film, and video as mediums were used to record socio-cultural life. Photography particularly was used to document types of ethnic groups, as anthropology tried as a discipline to present itself as a scientific study of humans. It was also used to depict material culture of societies and provide a visual notebook. By 1895, the portable motion picture camera was invented, and anthropologists used film to record the same things but on film. Banks 2001. It was in the year 1898 that Alfred Cort Haddon used films for academic purposes to document his British expedition to the Torres Straits Islands. This was an ambitious expedition to scientifically study the island people and for the purpose of filming their lifestyle. Latest scientific recording equipments were carried along. The instruments were for taking photographic skills, making films, and create experimental colored photographs. This clearly demonstrates that visual forms were engulfed in multimedia in one way or the other from its inception. Such visual creation of the native life in the Torres Straits was seen as part of methodology and a scientific approach of study. Pink 2006. During this time, other than Haddon, French boys made use of multimedia too. While doing fieldwork, ethnographers Frank Gillen, and Baldwin Spencer made use of experimental visual techniques while observing the Australian Aborigines in the late 19th century. Morphy and Edwards, 1988. They were both advocates of using multimedia in not just researching but also as a tool to exhibit their product. That is, they brought their findings to the public not only in the written textual form but also gave lectures with the use of film, images, sound, etc., which we can term as multimedia lectures. Griffiths 2002. They combined this with ethnographic film screenings. Coming back to Boas, his attempt at using photography on his subjects in fact started before Haddon's voyage, that is in 1883. Boas' use of the multimedia included images of body parts, material culture, ceremonies, portraits of people, etc. Though many see Boas as one of the propounders of visual anthropology, Boas himself presented conflicting views of the use of visuals. He staunchly believed that humans are best understood by the medium of language. He was of the view that historical aspects of culture were not revealed through visuals as it only showed the apparent. Jackness 1984. Thus, instead of promoting the scientific worth of photography, his views rather obstructed its growth. However, his work in photography and multimedia did create interest among his students who carried forward his use of the visual media. One such student was Margaret Mead. Anthropologists always kept questioning themselves about how to present their findings in the best possible way, a way which could give the public an absolute view or understanding of cultures investigated. This was one of the many regions that influenced anthropologists to occupy themselves in the representation of culture, intellect, and skills through the use of sensory means and imagery. It not only led to the creation of films and photographs on ethnography, but also to anthropology of performance and exhibition. This, though, cannot be called multimedia anthropology, but this incipient intervention, did introduce use of various media in anthropology. With the coming of computers in 1980s and 90s, anthropology took a quick turned towards the application of multimedia or hypermedia in its everyday scholarly exercises. Digital media came to the accepted Digital media came to be accepted as the everyday process in creation of anthropological writing and interaction. So we can clearly say that it was in the latter part of the 20th century that multimedia anthropology began to be studied under the context of theory and pragmatics. Pink 2006. Use of sensory and visual was applied in anthropology in different ways as part of the experimentation in 20th century. At the advent of 21st century, anthropology embarked into investigations with the help of new digital tools taking into consideration more the individualistic and reflexive approaches. Use of multimedia in anthropology cannot be denied anymore.